Today's video has terrifying encounters with entities that are far from human, coming face to face with frightening ghosts. Possessed people. And figures that are pure nightmare fuel. You won't believe how disturbing these encounters got. Is this woman possessed? The video shows a woman named Claire Dubois from France. She left a party early and walked home alone, even though her home was nearly an hour away. She began recording herself on the way. At first, she seemed fine, but her words soon turned disturbing. Even her voice became deep and satanic, and her expression grew more terrifying. Later, when her friends found the clip in her phone, they were really concerned because Claire had been completely sober that night. Even Claire herself had no memory of ever making the video. Hospital ghosts. A nurse from China had just finished his shift in a ward where 2 female patients had recently passed away. As he was leaving, he saw this terrifying sight. 2 ghosts were standing in the hallway, and one of them didn't even appear to have a head. They were blocking the way to the exit, so the nurse stayed hidden around the corner and kept recording. It seemed impossible, but he thought that maybe they were ghosts of those 2 previous patients. Only after an hour did the ghosts vanish, and he ran for the exit. Eerie woman. In July 2023, a group of friends in Florida encountered a really unsettling woman in a parking lot. She was barefoot and holding a teddy bear in her hands. It looked like she couldn't even walk properly as she kept swinging the bear around wildly. Then, her behavior became even more disturbing. Suddenly, she started to shake fiercely, as if something had taken control of her. The friends thought she was either under the influence of substances or simply not in her right mind. So, they just decided to drive away. Demonic entity. What would you do if you came across this in the middle of the night? A man in Africa encountered this terrifying entity near an old hospital. At first, he felt strangely drawn to it, almost as if he were in a trance. The figure had long black hair, pale skin, and unsettling eyes. But the worst part was its unnaturally wide grin. After some time, he snapped out of it and realized how close he was to it. He started recording as he backed away. Even from a distance, the entity's eyes stayed locked on him the entire time. Junkyard ghost girl. A bus driver went to a junkyard to look for parts to repair his own vehicle. When he found an old bus, he started examining it. That's when he noticed an unsettling face in the windows. It looked like a girl with hair covering part of her face, and she was staring right at him. At first, he thought maybe a homeless girl was living inside, but when he looked inside, the bus was completely empty. The girl had vanished, just like a ghost. That was the moment he got truly scared, and he left without taking any spare parts. Ghostly customer. A man in Malaysia was working late at his food stall, hoping for extra orders because he needed the money, but he regretted it instantly. A creepy woman appeared at his stall out of nowhere. Her face was really terrifying, and her eyes were completely white, with pupils rolled unnaturally upward. Instead of a mouth, there was a long gash stretching sideways. The man avoided eye contact, convinced she was a churale. He feared that if he looked directly at her, something bad would happen, so he just waited for her to leave. Strange stalker. This video begins with 2 friends returning from a late-night party. It was so late they couldn't find a taxi, so they started walking home. As they were fooling around on the road and recording themselves, one of the girls froze. She spotted something in the distance. A humanoid figure stood in the middle of the road. From that distance, it seemed like it didn't have a head. Then, it suddenly began running toward them. The terrified girls ran for their lives. They ended up escaping, but also learned never to wander alone at night. Possessed passenger. This Uber driver thought he was picking up an ordinary passenger, but he was wrong. In Dallas, Texas, he was ending his shift with one last ride around 2 in the morning. From the moment the woman got in, she began acting strange. At first, he assumed she was under the influence, but soon it became clear something else was happening. Her neck twisted to the side. Her mouth opened unnaturally wide. She was making strange noises too. The driver realized she might be possessed. He tried to remain calm and was really relieved when her stop finally arrived. Cemetery ghost. A Vietnamese TikToker named Maso Dao Si shared a chilling video. He recorded it near a cemetery in Mekong Delta, Vietnam. At 2 in the morning, there were rumors of a female ghost that appeared there at that exact time. When he went there to investigate, he saw this woman in a red traditional dress. She stood very still. Her skin was pale, and her eyes were completely black without pupils. It seemed like she was staring right at him. He got so unsettled that he left quietly after recording her, but he was still curious about her mysterious appearance at that exact time. Terrifying customer. In Indonesia, a woman running a small food stall had an encounter she will never forget. When she was closing up her stall after a busy night, someone else walked to her stall. But it was no human. It was a tall, ghostly figure in white robes with long black hair and a gray face. It stood completely still. Though it never asked for food, the woman calmly began preparing some, hoping an offering might make it leave. Thanks to her quick and steady thinking, the woman got out of that scary encounter safely. Devilish lady. If you think late-night walks are a good idea, think again. Thomas Green, a nurse, had just returned from a stressful shift and decided to take a short stroll to clear his head. As he was vlogging his night, he saw a woman smiling at him. When he walked closer, her expression became devilish. Even her eyes were pitch black and demonic. When he walked away, her eyes stayed fixed on him. He was so shaken that he stayed on high alert after that, fearing that the creepy woman might start chasing him too. Summoned ghost. In Brazil, a man named Lucas Santos began facing terrifying events right after holding a spiritual ritual in his home. He believed the ceremony would bring peace, but instead, it attracted something dark. Lights started flickering on their own, and he kept hearing strange noises. Then, the worst happened. He saw a ghostly woman appear in one of the rooms. She stood in the very room where the ritual had taken place. He was so terrified that he fled the house, but the woman started chasing him in the building's stairway. After reaching another floor, he realized she was finally gone. Crawling woman. Around 2:40 a.m. in Oregon, a homeowner checked his surveillance camera after getting motion alerts near his front yard, and what he saw shocked him. An eerie woman was crawling towards his house on all fours. Her movements were unnatural, more like an animal than a person. What's even more confusing is that the footage showed her moving toward the house, but never leaving. It seemed like she vanished or slipped away unnoticed. The next day, homeowner Daniel Moore alerted police. They told him that a woman had been crawling around neighborhoods to scare people, and they were already searching for her. Terrifying face. Mark Williams, a freelance designer, was working late at night on his patio. At around 2 in the morning, he suddenly noticed a terrifying face in the distance. It was pale,
lumabas ako na eh. Kumita.
With dark eyes staring straight at him. At first, he thought it had to be his neighbors trying to prank him, but then he remembered that they were away on vacation and their house was empty. That realization made him frightened, and he wondered if it wasn't them. Then who or what could that be? Without wasting another moment, Mark went inside and locked all the doors.
Kumita.
Creepy ballerina. On August 21st, 2023, a man in Florida was dropping off his friend after a party. As he parked outside his building, he noticed a strange basket ahead.
Yo, hold up. It's weird. Yo, do you want to get out?
When the friends got out to examine it, they noticed a scary female figure in front of them. She was dressed in a ballerina outfit. The most terrifying detail was her face.
Yo, what the hell is that?
It was pale and completely blank, with no features at all. She began walking in a strange way and disappeared behind the building. The man got so scared that he didn't enter the building and stayed the night at his friend's house.
Yo, what the Yo.
Eerie woman. This strange footage was uploaded on TikTok in 2013. Two men were riding a bike down a road when they saw someone blocking their way. It looked like a woman, but something about her was truly unsettling. There was no vehicle in sight, and the road was an hour away from residential areas, so they didn't know how she'd gotten there. The woman kept her head down, and she didn't even acknowledge their presence, which made the scene even more disturbing. However, the video uploader never explained what happened afterward, or if the woman did anything else. Ghostly woman. While a security guard in Mexico was working a late-night shift, he noticed something strange on the surveillance camera. Behind one of the restricted buildings, where only guards and officials could go, a woman appeared out of nowhere. Her arms were twisted at odd angles. At first, he thought she might be disabled and lost. But then she turned toward the camera, and her eyes were horrifying. They were pure white, with no pupils at all. Shocked, he rushed to the spot to check in person. Yet when he arrived, the figure was completely gone. Could it have been a ghost? Unsettling behavior. The video is from an office in Spain, and it shows a man working overtime late at night. It was past 10 when his behavior suddenly took a disturbing turn. He started twitching unnaturally, almost as if he had lost control of himself. What made it creepier was that his eyes appeared to be glowing. Then, he turned directly toward the camera with a bone-chilling smile. The footage was cut off right after that. According to the description, the office staff saw the recording and questioned him the next day, but he had no memory of it. Creepy man. One of the drivers in Texas shared an unsettling experience from his late-night drive. He had just taken a turn when he felt something scrape against his car. He stopped, but saw nothing in his side mirrors. Moments later, he noticed someone run toward his car. It was a man with something clutched in his hand. His face seemed strange, or maybe he was hiding behind a mask. His intentions were unclear, but we will never know what he really wanted because the video ended before anything else happened. Night horror. This home security camera recorded a woman while she was asleep, and what it captured was beyond disturbing. In the middle of the night, she appeared to wake up, but something was very wrong. Her eyes seemed to glow, and she had a sinister smile on her face. Her neck twitched unnaturally, and her lips were moving too. The next day, she woke up feeling tired and decided to check the recorded footage, and that's when she saw this. She couldn't tell if this was a bizarre sleep disorder or if something much darker had taken hold of her. Disguised evil entity. What would you do if you found your mother doing this. In 2019, a young woman was staying at her mother's home. One night, when her mother wasn't at home, she started hearing loud sounds from the kitchen. She followed the noise, only to find her mother slamming the oven door repeatedly. She was really scared because her mother would never behave this way. She called out to her, but when she turned, her expression was twisted and wrong. The daughter realized it was another entity disguised as her mother while she was away. So, she ran to her room and locked herself until the entity was gone.
Mom?
Ghost Lady. The following video is truly terrifying. A paranormal investigator went to a remote location in Malaysia. It was really dark. As he was recording his surroundings, he noticed a pair of glowing eyes staring at him from the darkness. Those eyes appeared to belong to a ghostly female figure in white with long hair. The sight was scary, but he did not run away.
What it is, but it's looking back at me.
Because he had expected something like this. That house was said to be haunted ever since a woman had passed away there under mysterious circumstances. He wanted proof of that, which is why he went there. Creepy doppelganger. A doctor in Australia shared a terrifying encounter while driving to the hospital for an emergency patient. He had stopped at a red light when a woman suddenly appeared at his car window. Her face was pressed against the glass, and she was staring at him in a creepy way. Then, she began knocking hard on the window. What scared him most was that the woman looked exactly like his wife, but his wife was at home, asleep, and his house was almost an hour away. He mentioned in the description that he eventually drove off, but he still couldn't shake the fear. If it wasn't his wife, then who was it? Strange visitor. TikToker Della Dawson uploaded this footage of a strange visitor. At around 4 in the morning, the woman walked up to her door carrying plant baskets and behaving oddly. At first, it looked like she was trying to speak through the intercom. Then her actions only grew stranger. She started staring at the Ring camera eerily, while her neck twitched unnaturally. Della only saw the recording the next day, and she immediately showed it to her neighbors. None of them recognized the woman, but one realized those exact same plants had gone missing from her patio. So, they reported this unsettling woman to the police. Invisible friend. On the 21st of October, 2021, a security guard in Spain was monitoring the park cameras around 11 p.m. That's when he saw this man talking to someone on the swing. Yet no one was visible on the camera. At one point, one of the swings even started moving on its own. He carried on the conversation for 2 hours before leaving. When he returned the next night, the guard asked him who he'd been talking to. The man replied he had met a beautiful woman who invited him for a chat. When the guard showed him the footage, he realized he had spent hours talking to a ghost. Glitch or spirits? Not much info was available on this video. All we know is that it was captured on the 16th of July this year on a home security camera in Indonesia at around 1 in the morning. The man got up for some water. As he was going back to his room, something really strange happened. It looked like a strange glitch in reality. After seeing it, many viewers commented that this was just a creepy camera glitch. However, some also believe the camera captured the 3 souls and 7 spirits from Chinese belief. So, which one do you believe? Terrifying mind encounter. This video is really creepy, but the story behind it is even creepier. It happened in Los Pelambres, Chile. A minor senior scolded him for not reporting to him after work, but he insisted that he had already spoken to him. To prove it, he pulled up the CCTV footage. The minor was clearly talking to someone in the video, but no one showed up on camera. The video confused him because he was certain that he'd been speaking to his senior. He thought that either he'd been talking to a ghost, or the pollutants from the mines were causing him to hallucinate. Mysterious shapeshifter. A shapeshifter was allegedly spotted in Japan, and its footage has left viewers baffled. A seemingly normal woman was standing in an elevator in Tokyo, but then her form began to change. Slowly, her face and hairline shifted until she appeared to be a man. The transformation happened a few more times, as if the shapeshifter couldn't decide which form to keep. After seeing it, viewers were really confused because it looked too real to be a glitch. However, since no other info was available, like who the person was or if they were ever identified, some of them doubt its authenticity. Strange glitch. Something really strange is happening in this surveillance video from Olongapo City, Philippines. Look closely at the woman in the red shirt. At first, she looked like a normal passerby walking down the street. But then, something disturbing happened. Her head seemed to vanish mysteriously. It looked far too strange to be real. Yet it did not seem like a camera glitch either, since everything else in the frame appeared normal. The security guard who noticed this while monitoring the cameras replayed it over and over again, but couldn't come up with a logical explanation for what happened. Haunted scrap car. In 2011, a man at a scrapyard in Guangzhou, China, saw something eerie. He made a living by recycling materials, and when he heard that some more cars had been towed in, he went there immediately. As he was looking around, he noticed a strange figure through one of the car's windows. The shape wasn't clear, but something was clearly moving inside. At first, he assumed someone was trapped, but then he remembered that cars are always empty when they are towed in. He thought maybe there was something dark lurking in it there, so he didn't touch that car. Shape-shifting man. Look at this video carefully, because this man doesn't seem normal. When you observe him, you'll notice his eyes begin to shift, and even his ear appears unnatural. Some viewers believe this could be evidence of a reptilian or shapeshifter. The idea gained more weight after ex-CIA officer John Ramirez, who spent 25 years in the agency, spoke openly about such things. In an interview in 2021, he said that non-human intelligences have been among us for a long time. So, could this video be proof of that? Scary visitor. In New York, a woman was startled when her doorbell rang at 3 in the morning. It was far too late for visitors, and when she looked through the peephole, she saw a really disturbing face. Only part of it was visible, and it seemed to be staring back with a wide eye. The most chilling detail was that the face looked semi-opaque. She didn't dare open the door, because the face didn't seem to belong to a human. So, only after making sure it had left did she go back to her room. Mystery woman. In Indonesia, a man and his co-workers were working a night shift and transferring goods to another warehouse. Everything seemed normal until he noticed something shocking. A woman was hanging from the back of the truck ahead. He began recording her, thinking it was a thief, but he was certain no one else had been there when they were loading the goods. After a while, he stopped recording and signaled the other driver to stop. They both got out and searched the area, but the woman was gone. He showed the video to his co-worker too, yet they found nothing near or inside the truck. Street glitch. Did this man capture a glitch in the Matrix? In 2019, a tourist named Andrew Collins was visiting Oxford, England, when he noticed something strange on the streets. Several pedestrians suddenly began staring through the windows of a building. The sight was so unsettling that Andrew pulled out his phone and started recording it. Moments later, the people began moving backward. It seemed like this was either a rare glitch, or these people were in a strange trance that no one could explain. Haunted house. A paranormal team from the YouTube channel Busca Sobrenatural were exploring an abandoned house in Brazil. A man used to live a lonely and mysterious life there, and his soul is still believed to linger after his passing. As the investigators were searching the area with flashlights, one of them noticed a figure in the distance. It was a man standing at a great height. They were really startled by him, and when they looked again, the man vanished. It wasn't possible for anyone to get down from that height so quickly, which is why they believed they had encountered the man's ghost and ended their exploration.
Sumiu, cara! Sumiu o negócio, velho!
Ghost on camera. Cameras often reveal things the human eye cannot, and this surveillance footage is one of them. A store owner in Argentina shared it online. It was 2:30 in the morning when the camera captured a semi-transparent woman standing at the entrance. In reality, the man did not see anywhere there. He was so shaken that he even filmed the entire area with his phone.
Asustado pero posta. ¿La ven?
But nothing showed up on it. The owner also mentioned in the video that in all his years working there, nothing like this had ever happened before.
Años que trabajo de noche, nunca había algo como esto. 12 horas.
Terrifying visitor. One evening, a woman was out for dinner with her husband when she received a notification from her doorbell camera. When she opened the app to see who it was, she was horrified. A strange woman was standing at the door, and she was cradling something in her hands. She was staring into the camera. Then she just started staring at the sky. The homeowner also explained that she had never seen this woman before. At that time, only her housekeeper was at home, so she quickly called to warn her to keep all doors locked. Only after lingering near the door for 2 hours did she leave. Terrifying neighborhood. Moving into a suspiciously cheap neighborhood isn't always the best idea, and this man in Malaysia learned that the hard way. At around 11 p.m. on his very first night there, he heard noises outside and stepped out to check. Instead of a person, he saw a pale, hunched figure. It started walking toward him with slender legs that were bent at odd angles. The entity looked so terrifying that he started reciting religious verses. After he realized the entity wasn't going to leave, he ran away from it and decided that he had to find another place to live. Cursed shoes. A construction worker in Iraq bought a pair of second-hand safety boots. He couldn't afford new ones, so he took the deal even though they looked very worn. That night, he heard heavy footsteps inside his house. When he got up to see who it was, he saw this terrifying sight. The boots were moving on their own, as if someone invisible was wearing them. He recorded the scene to make sure he was not dreaming. He thought the boots were cursed. Maybe that's why the previous owner had given them away. The next day, he threw them away. Don't look behind. Some friends in the Philippines were recording themselves at home. Only 4 of them were in the house that day, but the camera showed someone else too. From the staircase, a figure was peeking down at them. It wasn't human. The face was pale and ashy, and it had really long hair. The entity seemed to be staring directly at the group. They had no idea it was there until later, when they replayed the footage. That was when they got really terrified, because they believed the camera had caught a real ghost behind them. Serbian dancing lady. At midnight, when a woman named Olivia was about to close her curtains, she noticed a strange female outside her building. She was dancing in a strange, hypnotic way. Her feet were shifting side to side, as if performing some eerie ritual. Olivia was so hypnotized by her dance that she started recording her. Suddenly, the dancer looked up directly at her with a terrifying expression, and Olivia stopped recording. Later, when she uploaded the clip to TikTok, viewers warned her that she'd seen the dangerous Serbian dancing lady, and she was fortunate not to have gotten close to her. Strange guy. When a woman in Detroit was about to step out of her car to head into a store, she noticed this strange man. He stood in the parking lot with his body bent backward. he remained very still, and it appeared as if he was in some sort of trance. Soon, his body began swaying side to side. The woman had mentioned in the video's description that she had no idea how long he'd been doing that. She was so disturbed by him that she drove to another store instead. Crawling woman. In Italy, a family received motion alerts on their phones late at night, and what they saw left them horrified. A woman had crawled into their property. Although she looked human, her movements were disturbingly animalistic. She continued crawling around the property as if searching for something. The family didn't dare step outside because they weren't sure if it was a mentally ill person or something far darker. So, they kept watching from their screens in fear until she finally crawled away. Now it's time for the most terrifying video of the day as our subscribers pick. While walking through a park in South Korea, a man noticed a woman sitting on a bench. He thought she might need help and decided to approach her. But that was a huge mistake. When she lifted her face, her expression twisted into something disturbingly evil. Her behavior only grew stranger with time. Then, she started chasing him. That's when panic finally took over. He wondered if she was possessed or something else was going on with her psychologically. But either way, he knew it was safer to stay away. So, he started backing away while also refusing to take his eyes off her.